Hey, it's Chuck Armstrong with Loudwire Nights, and this is Loudwire Nights On Demand. We recently hung out with Bryan Kuznitz of Fame on Fire, talking about their upcoming new album and a few other things, man. This first aired on Thursday, August 8th. Enjoy. Tonight we are hanging with the frontman for one of the most exciting bands of the year, Fame on Fire. Coming up in a few weeks, we're going to get our hands on their third full-length album, their third album in 4 years, actually. Bryan Kuznitz, thank you so much for hanging, man.
Thank you for having me, Chuck. Appreciate it. Wow, you say 3 albums in 4 years. That's crazy.
Well, I was going to ask you, man, like, you know, you guys started a little over a decade ago, but really it seems like these last 4 years have found Fame on Fire coming into its own, at least, you know, from my perspective, the perspective of a fan. As you hear that, as you think about that, do you feel that way? Like, does it feel like really the last 4 years have been what's kind of helped shape the band today?
Totally. I think that the biggest thing is that I think it really started when we started touring, like legitimately touring consistently. And it all started with Ice Nine Kills in 2021. November of 2021. Like that's where it, or earlier than that, I think it was September 2021. But like that's when everything really started, when we started seeing like, you know, real fans getting real traction, you know, people talking about us. And so I think that's where like everything started becoming very legitimate for us.
And obviously like it became legitimate tangibly, right? Like playing bigger shows, playing to more fans. Did that feel though, like for you as the front man for Fame on Fire as a band, did it feel like a turning point too, just like internally?
Totally. And you don't realize it until you get some perspective of like seeing older videos of yourself performing, which is really funny. We have this super fan and he sent me a video. He's been a fan since day one. And he sent me a video of us like performing in Texas. And like, you know, memory can get a little funny sometimes because you might romanticize a memory or a moment in your life. I think that there was like more going on there than there was. And he sent me a video and he's like, dude, I remember this, you guys playing this and it was so cool. And I'm like, watching this video, I'm like, damn, there was really nobody at these shows. I'm like, there was really nobody at these shows. It's like, but now it's like, there's always going to be people at our shows now, which is really, really awesome.
Yeah. I mean, that's just hearing you say that, man, what a great feeling, right? To know like, that you've hit that point at least where you know people will be at your shows. Exactly.
It's super important.
Do you like reflecting like on the past? Do you like looking back, or are you always kind of just pointed ahead?
I like to look back. I like to reminisce. I like to remember like the good times, the weird times, the things that like, you know, in hindsight don't matter as much. I do like to do that. I do think it is fun to look back though on the past of like our career and like what we were doing and where we're at, because it really gives us perspective on how grateful we should be that we're where we're at.
So this new album is right around the corner. How are you feeling as you get ready for it to be out?
I'm really excited. I do think it's going to change things for us in like a really big way. We have like, I think the best song still is not released yet. So I'm excited for that. I think that like once we have the whole imagery, and we work so hard on the imagery and the picture of it all and the storytelling behind it and the thought process of it, like we've never done that before in any album before. So for me, it's like, this is it. We gave this everything. We really gave this everything. Like there was no stone unturned on this. Like we didn't have bake anything. This was all thought out. Everything needed to matter. Everything needed to make sense. And I'm excited for it.
I love that, man. So the album is The Death Card. It's out on September 6th. So, you know, first off, do you want to share what you think is the best song, even though it hasn't been out yet?
Yeah, it's a song called Chains. The people that have seen us on tour, or the fans that haven't seen us on tour, but just, you know, watch videos of live things, they know about Chains because we've been playing it live. And it's a song that features Ma from Sim, which we just got off tour with them. And they were one of my favorite tour of all time because they were just such nice people and just so cool, so down to earth, so respectful. I feel like a lot of Japanese bands are like that. It's very different in Japan compared to how we are in America, but just super awesome people. And so the song has Ma on it. And Ma came out one of the nights on tour and he came out and sang his part, which was super cool. And then we were just in Japan and Ma came out at their festival. They put on a festival in Japan, because that's what you do when you're a big Japanese band. You put on a festival. So Ma came out on stage, did not know he was coming out, and he hit the second verse and he sang up on stage with me for this song. So it's called Chains. The fans that know about it, they know about it. But for everybody else, it will be out it will be out when the album drops, which is
Awesome.
September 6th.
Awesome, man. So the three singles you've released so far, Nightmare, Spiral, and Suicide, are those, do you think those are good indications of what fans can expect from the totality of the album?
Yeah, I think that's the most important thing about when releasing singles is like to kind of paint the picture of what the album is going to have and what it's going to look like. There's deeper cuts on it for sure, but it's around the ballpark of those three songs. It's what it's genuinely going to sound like.
Right on. So listen, you're talking about the just like the effort and the care that you guys put into this album, and not just the music, but everything around it. So let me ask you about that. Obviously the title itself, the Death Card, that can be pretty deep right off the bat. And then every single track title in parentheses includes different cards that you'd find in a tarot deck. So where did all this come from, man?
We wanted to make it's kind of a concept album where we wanted to have an album that was based around tarot cards, and because I don't know why, but at the time we were so interested in it. Like we were just interested as a group. My sister's really into it and she loves reading our astrology charts and doing all those sorts of things. I don't know if she would be comfortable with me talking about this. She's very recluse, but she's really into it. And so it piqued my interest, which piqued Paul's interest, which piqued Blake's interest, Alex. And so it's like we would talk about these sort of things. And it's like, this would be kind of a cool album concept to write about. And so Paul's the one that brought it up as making it an album concept idea. And we're like, damn, that's actually a really good idea. And I was thinking, okay, that's going to be, how can we make this all work? Like, what do I have to do to relay everything to make it all make sense? So each song has a tarot card related to it, and the lyrical meaning behind the songs is related to the tarot card that's related to. And we got really specific with it. We went back and forth with it a couple of times, making sure that this is we got it right. Because also the thing with tarot is that they can have multiple meanings to them. So you can flip it around whichever way you want. But we wanted to make it very streamlined. We needed to make the lyrics make sense with what the card was about. And then also a big thing is that this song needed to relate to us in some sort of way, because it'd feel almost disingenuous and disconnected if it wasn't relating to us. So we needed to relate it to us, and we needed the song to match the card. And that's where things would get kind of difficult when it came to writing of it all.
I mean, so you guys must have gone pretty deep into that then. I mean, because if you're writing songs about this, you're not just doing a surface level Wikipedia search, right? You're getting deep into it.
Oh yeah. I mean, the song on the title track, The Death Card, we reworked that song a few times to make sure that it was right. Because the Death Card is a scary card for people. It's not a bad card though. It basically means you're closing off one door, you're killing one part of yourself, and you're moving on to a better life, I guess.
Yeah. Taking a next step. Exactly.
It's basically just closing one door, opening another.
So with all this wrapped up, is that something that you think you'll continue being interested in or diving into, tarot?
Yeah, for sure. I think it's going to be something that's always going to be interesting to me. Because I feel like it was interesting before. It's going to still be interesting again after this. Although it depends on the questions that come out of this, right? Because the fan questions, because it could get I don't know, they could ask me a billion things and expect me to be a tarot card master, but I'm not. Yeah. I know a little bit, but I'm not a master of it at any means. I just think it's a really cool concept.
Yeah, just let the songs speak for themselves.
Exactly.
How long did you guys work on this? I mean, because this, as I hear this, and just as I think about in general concept albums, they seem it takes more effort. Or it takes a different type of effort, right? Because you don't want to mess it up. You want to be specific. You want to be clear. You want to make sure you're telling the right story, because so many people already connected to tarot, right? So they might be coming in already knowing everything about every single card. And so you want to come off as what you're singing about, what you're talking about. How long were you guys working on this?
This has probably been we started the process of this record, I want to say a year and a half ago, maybe a little bit longer. But we were at it for a while. We were at it for a while. And we were also we also wanted to make sure we did everything very right. So we were okay, we know what we need we know who we need on the team. We just got to find these people. Yeah. So we're we need somebody to help us with the visual aspects of everything, the creative side of everything, so we can run things by them. Because it's really easy to have I have an idea, Blake has an idea, Paul has an idea, Alex has an idea. It's really easy for us to go, hey, I have this idea, but then someone disagree with the idea, and then you're just kind of stuck in limbo. So if you have a creative director who can be this is a good idea, this is not a good idea, then it makes things so much easier.
Sure.
So they're not all like these sporadic ideas of us trying to like cater towards each other's egos. It's like we have a guy that is literally, his job is to tell us what looks good.
Yeah, I mean, listen, it's just like you need a producer sometimes in the studio, or an author needs an editor. Like, that makes sense, man.
It's the same thing. Like, we also had a producer for this record. So it's like across the board, it's like we have these checks where it's like, is this good? Yes. Great. Move on to the next. Is this good? Yes. So we have these checks on this record, which is super important for us too.
I love hearing that, man. Well, this also seems like it could open the door to some pretty badass merch for Fame on Fire. Like,
oh yeah, I think our new merch lines have been so sick. I'm so stoked on them.
That's awesome. Is there a Fame on Fire tarot deck?
We were working on it. That is something I'm unsure about. I know we were talking about it and working on it, but I don't know where we left off on it.
Cool. I mean, that just seems like that'd be really cool, man. And like just an extension of the album itself.
Totally. No, we definitely have some really cool merch drops with it, which I'm excited for.
So, at the start of this conversation, I had mentioned 3 albums in 4 years, and you were like, wow, 3 albums in 4 years. Are you the type of guy who's like, all right, this album's done, what's next? Or do you like to kind of relish in what you've done for a moment?
I definitely want to relish in what I've done for a moment, but like, it's really weird because like by the time you're like playing the album live, we've been doing this album for 1.5 years.
Yeah.
We wrote Nightmare over 1 year ago. Like, we've had these songs, and so we've known about these songs. And so like, I know it's news to the public and everything like that, but it's like, for us, it's like, we want to move on, but we know we need to live in it for a little bit.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean that we're not already writing new songs for the next record, because that's just kind of who we are. But definitely, you have to live in it.
Yeah. You have to, man. Especially an album like this, man, because it seems like such a deep album, and it's going to have so many layers, man, and fans are just going to be peeling that apart. It's, every chance they get.
Totally. Also, I love this album. So like, I'm excited to like live in it a little longer. I'm excited to like play the songs that we haven't played live. I'm excited to do a headliner eventually with this album and play like all these songs.
That's awesome, man. I love it. So the Death Card's out on September 6th. You're going to be touring across the states celebrating it. Do you know what's on the horizon after that for Fame on Fire?
Well, we have a tour with Wage War, and then after the tour with Wage War, I have no idea what we're doing.
All right. Simple as that, man.
Nothing planned yet, nothing set in stone yet. Just getting on the road with the boys and Wage, and that should be honestly like this coolest tour ever. So I'm excited. Which is going to be
killer, man. I mean, their new album's great, and they've been touring earlier this year, and they just bring it, man. And so for you guys to share the stage with them, it's going to be an awesome tour.
Oh yeah. Can't wait to be the not heaviest band there.
I love that, man. Bryan Kuznitz, thank you so much for hanging tonight. Everyone get ready for the release of Fame on Fire's new album, The Death Card, September 6th. Stay caught up with everything in Fame on Fire's world at fameonfireband.com. Bryan, let's hang again soon, man. You're welcome here anytime.
Thank you, Chuck. I really appreciate it, man.
That wraps up this episode of Loudwire Nights on Demand. Stay caught up with everything happening in the world of rock and metal on the Loudwire app and at loudwire.com.